So this is very obviously an oak tree, but that is an oak green Porsche Macan Turbo Electric, and today we are going to review it. Now the question that I'm going to ask myself is this worth twice the amount of a Tesla Model Y? This is spec'd to $130,000, and that paint that we talked about earlier is a $2,490 option. But the person shopping for this isn't necessarily looking for a deal. They bought a Porsche. And to those of us who can't afford them, we call them Porsches. So that's what I'll refer to it as. So, oak green metallic, it's a Macan Turbo. And what I love that they've done here is with this new badging on the Turbo and Turbo S models here, they've actually changed how it looks, kind of like a smoked finish as opposed to the traditional look here. Now, seeing this in person and seeing the proportions of it does have the staggered wheel setup, so that is a cool look to it. I think the gas Macan is one of the most beautiful SUVs on the market, and I was a little worried about this portion right here. That just, something doesn't quite look right, but in person, it's not bad. Also has a rear windscreen wiper here, and it has storage in the front. So we'll open up the trunk here. Okay. And we have a nice amount of storage in the back. Now it does have an air suspension. It's funny enough, you can actually see the tank for it right here, which is kind of unfinished. Normally they have everything tucked away nicely. Big fat wheels, big fat tires in the back. Let's take a look at storage in here. Brought to you by Burmester. So not a lot of storage in this thing. Let me show you the frunk real quick and show you how that opens up. This denotes electricity is inside the car. 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, EPA rated for 288 miles of range. But if you've been paying attention to anything that Porsche does, they always underrate their vehicles. So the owner of this told me he got about 340 miles out of the vehicle, whereas Tesla, you're always kind of chasing that. I would say 288 is realistic in a Tesla Model Y, but this with the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, the Model Y has about 79 usable. So this is a much bigger pack that's in this. That's why it's able to over deliver on range. I don't know why these manufacturers can't all just figure out and do the same testing, but that's far above my paid grade because I don't even own a Porsche. But I did. I owned a used one. I loved it. So here's the front storage space. I think they did a nice job here. This is the charging cable that comes with the car to give you a little bit of perspective of how big this is. This is about 2 feet across and about 1.5 feet deep. It's not bad. I'm just happy that it has some sort of storage here. Here's my thing. When you're driving an electric vehicle, it's got to be good because you're giving up a little bit of convenience. You can't just run to a gas station, get your cigarettes, get your beer, and then fill up in 3 minutes. You have to charge somewhere. Do the chargers work? Blah, blah, blah. There's all these things. There's all this minutia. Still trying to figure out how to open up the charge ports on this thing. But there's all these things. And what the Tesla Model Y does so well is it gives you all of these other additional features that make traveling easier, autopilot, full self-driving. This does have an augmented reality that I'll show you in a minute here. The Model Y has great storage in the frunk and the sub-trunk. This doesn't quite have that, so it's falling short so far as to if it is worth double. Now, these are very expensive cars, but today's video sponsor is going to give you a chance to win one.
Now, I've been telling you about a really cool EV raffle going on this summer from our nonprofit friends at CCAN Action Fund, and your odds of winning keep getting better as the summer goes on. You could be driving your very own Porsche Macan EV by this fall. Right now, the raffle is more than halfway complete and less than half of the tickets have been sold. And remember, one ticket gets you not one, not two, but 3 chances to win prizes ranging from a Porsche Macan EV like we have here, to a Rivian truck, a Lucid sedan, a Volkswagen ID Buzz van, and more. The math is simple. With fewer people buying tickets, your individual chances of winning are much better, especially with 3 winners. Tickets are just $200 and support the CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for clean energy and get more EVs on the road. The winners will be drawn on September 2nd, and that means you could be behind the wheel of a stunning new EV by this fall. Again, the tickets are way undersold with a maximum of 10,000 being sold. So go to www.evraffle.org to get your ticket today. That's evraffle.org, or check out the links in the description.
Now let's take a look at the back seats. One thing I love here is these floor mats. Just a nice little touch here. Look at that. It's like when you look down the rows of a cornfield. Let's come into the back again. Hey, not bad seating position. Not bad. You sit a little low. It's a little awkward. Alcantara suede roof liner. It's a real panoramic roof. This lifts up and opens up. And it's just, it's a luxury. It's a nice place to be. You have this trim right here. We'll call it champagne trim. The nice light wood here. And it's just a beautiful look. You have a little bit of storage back here, and you have plenty of room for your feet. So this is good. Everything in the back seat is good. Keep in mind, the Model Y does have a screen back here that you're able to stream, but we won't talk about that right now. And then you can kind of look at the displays. It has the passenger screen, the center screen with your 3 panes there. You're able to move those panes around. So if you want your navigation to be in the middle, you can do that. If you want your song to be on the left, you can do all of that. And it has Apple CarPlay and all of that stuff that you would expect. Steering wheel is beautiful. It even has the notch on top because this is a performance vehicle. We will rip it here in a little bit. Heavily bolstered seats. Let's jump up to the front. So I got distracted earlier, and this right here, press this down, and this releases the air suspension. The car will actually lower itself quite significantly in the back here. So I'll show you what this looks like with it totally bagged out. And there you go. Take a look at that. So as an owner of this vehicle, you're probably only going to use this for potentially putting your dogs in the back, or loading in a bag of mulch from Lowe's or Home Depot, whichever one you prefer to go to. I don't care. But that lowers that, the air suspension and everything in the back. That is what those buttons are for. You have some straps back here. But like I said, we need to get to the front of the vehicle. Now, I do really like these seats. These are heated and cooled seats. They're in a nice position. Also funny, there is a start button here. There's a power button on the left side because we as a Porsche, we are a racing company. And so when the driver jump into the seat, they get head start of other manufacturers. So our car much faster than the competition because of a start button. So that's what they said to me. But if you put your foot on the brake, well, the hood's up. So let's fix that. So as I was saying, now that I've closed everything up here, except for the passenger door, the car is started. My foot's on the brake and I can put it into drive. So you don't necessarily need to hit the power button to turn the car on. It turns on when you sit down and all the doors are closed. So that is a good feature. And then if you want to put it into park, you click that button right there. And now we're in park. So I'm going to turn on my cooled seat. Oh, that's interesting. So this entire thing is that haptic feedback. So you can see the entire board actually moves in. See that? And I can't say I'm a huge fan of that. People always complain about the buttons in Porsches, but personally I like having all the buttons, just like let it go. I don't know, this is a great way of doing it, but these switches are kind of cool. You can turn those on and off, so that's not bad. And then you have your efficiency and everything up there, as well as this diamond button, and you can configure that to be what you want it to be. So I always loved how these screens were so configurable. And then if you want to move through the screens, you tap this button right here, and then you can change what you want each of these to be. We're gonna leave it where the owner had it. Let's see what other options there are. So yeah, there's all kind of navigation. Oh, that's cool. Nice. So anyways, there's various things you can set up there. We'll also open this up. So you know, if you ever listen to a rap song, you'll hear them say, drop the top. And that's what they're talking about. They might be referring to convertibles actually. But in the center display here, the center console, you have a ton of room. It's a deep hole. I don't know that you really want your coffee sitting down there. And then you have this abyss where you can't even fit, for women to fit like a purse or something, or men can have purses too. That's not great. And then you have the wireless charging for your phone right here, glove compartment, all of that stuff. So let's take a look at the air suspension settings here. It's currently set on lift. Here is normal mode. Here's lowered.
And here is low. So they're taking it deep now. So for this 2024 Macan Turbo, what do you get for $130,000? Well, I mentioned the oak green metallic neo color, which is $2,400. It also has the leather interior in black and limestone beige package. It has the model designation on the rear electric logo on the side sill, and it has a trailer hitch without the tow ball. It has an air quality control system. It has a power charge port cover, roof rail systems, the ventilated seats, the 22-inch Macan style wheels, which are $3,400. The Burmester high-end sound system, $4,700. The passenger display, $1,500, and the Augmented Reality heads-up display with window trim in silver. That all adds up to $130,000. The base price of a Macan Turbo Electric is $105,000. All right, we are going to throw this thing in drive. Gonna turn off the air, turn down the air. We got our cooled seat running. The cooled seat is loud. It's loud in this thing. Put it in drive, so you have a little shifter here. Press it down, and we're off. It does have the electric sound to it, and you can see electric sport sound. You can turn that on or off. I'm gonna leave it on. I kind of like how Porsche does it. And I will say, we all know that a Porsche is expensive, right? I'm not looking for a deal. What I am looking for is, does this excite me like, geez, like the Taycan does? The Taycan is aspirational to me. They've depreciated a nice amount, and I wonder if the Macan is going to do that. Now, the Macan, it already is a little behind because I think the Taycan looks so cool. The Taycan comes in a wagon. It's a really unique car, and this is really just an electric variant of an already beautiful and great selling gas car. I owned a Macan S. I loved it, but I loved it because of the air suspension with which this has. It had a sport exhaust, which this, you cannot option an exhaust on an electric car yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Dodge is already working on it. So does the driving of this, how does it feel? One thing I am surprised of, and this has 22-inch wheels, so I don't expect it to ride perfect, but it's a little jarring over some of the bumps that you go over. And I'll put the chassis in sport. I'll put the chassis in normal so we can kind of feel that. This F-150 needs to get out of my way. I have a car to review, sir. There are people relying on you to get out of the way. Yeah, love the... I kind of like the sound. We'll turn off the electric sport sound. See how we feel without it. I kind of like it. Yeah, it rides nice. The throttle response, and again, I'm in sport mode. I'm in an aggressive mode, but it's like a little laggy, surprisingly, in comparison to like a Tesla or something like that. It's very good, but I would expect a little bit more. I would expect a little bit more kick out of it. Now, the steering feels nice. The suspension feels composed over this. The quality of the sound in the cabin, it doesn't feel too loud. I might be being a little too harsh on the suspension. I guess when you think of an air suspension, you picture clouds up where the shocks generally are. And it doesn't quite feel like that, but it's not bad. Let's give it a good rip out of here. I mean, it is quick. There's no doubt about that. It accelerates insanely fast. And it feels good on these roads that are far from perfect. There's patching and all that stuff. So it feels pretty good. I love that you have your drive mode selector right here. It even has an off-road mode. In off-road mode, it raises the air suspension all the way up. So that's kind of cool. Again, something you're never going to use, but it is there, and it's nice with an air suspension to have all the settings, have it actually move as you're using the vehicle. So does this give me the same excitement that a Taycan does? Does it feel as good as a Taycan? It doesn't. And starting at $78,000 and having the limitations of charging it. Now, you don't have the same maintenance that every Porsche comes with and bankrupts you. If you take it to a dealership, you don't have that because of lack of spark plugs, and you do still use the brakes. It's interesting, Porsche, their take on regenerative braking,
Why is the squirrel sitting in the middle of the road? Go. Okay. Saved a squirrel. Their take on regenerative braking is when you hit the brakes. You'll see the gauge here goes more green when you hit the brakes. That's their recuperation method. I feel like regen, just letting off and it recouping, it does a little bit of that, but it does most of it when you actually hit the brakes. Again, I don't know what the right answer is for that there. I'm not an engineer, believe it or not. But you do use the brakes, so there will be some sort of maintenance that comes with that. Here's what I will say, though. This compared to the gas Macan, they're just so much quicker. I mean, it's just so much more precision driving in this. I still think the gas Macan looks a little bit better, but if we're talking strictly, I thought I turned those sounds off, I guess, whatever. But if we're talking strictly about the drivetrain, this is better. I mean, every electric car, the way they drive is so nice, especially out on these country roads. When I get into a rural area with an electric car, I feel like I'm having an affair. And I don't know what it's like to have an affair, but I'm just saying that it kind of feels like that. You feel like you're cheating a little bit. Because everyone out here, they don't really know or are unsure about electric cars, and I'm charging it home for cheap, and I'm driving around in something that is quick. It's not disturbing anyone. The handling is excellent. It feels so cool, and you're not bothering anyone. And while I think this has some improvement, it needs to be improved in some ways, like the throttle response could be sharpened up a little bit. It is very good, and the person shopping for this isn't looking for a deal like someone is when they drive a Tesla Model Y. So it's a testament to the value that the Tesla Model Y has, but this is very nicely done. I think where the Macan falls short is it's not as special as the Taycan. It doesn't have the low to the ground handling. It doesn't come in a special wagon form. There's nothing that special about this vehicle for me to want to go and stretch and go buy or lease one. It's just doesn't do anything that great or different over some of the other options on the market, and especially with a lot of the lease deals going on. This has some pretty good lease deals on it right now, but there's just a lot else out there. For example, the Hummer EV, you can lease those for about $600 or $700 a month, and it's a $130,000 car. And there's even some leases that are more aggressive than that. So there's a ton of EV deals out there. And while this is a well-built car, it has a lot of incredible features. We'll do the augmented reality here in a second. It doesn't do anything that makes me want to, like, oh man, I gotta have one of those. Or it doesn't have I would say it's beautiful. I love the headlights on it, but I don't know. I look at Rivian and Tesla for their great software, and then I come to this, and it's actually not bad. And I did talk to the owner. I said, what are some things that you like about the vehicle? He likes the software a lot. He likes moving the panes around. He said it's actually very usable, so that's good to hear that the native software is well done. And then they're great with doing customization in here. The passenger has their display that they can kind of play with as you're driving along. But yeah, let's throw it into, let's use the navigation. What's it called? Dunkin', I think. America runs on Dunkin'. We're on the East Coast, so we'll go to a Dunkin' Donuts. Not that Starbucks nonsense. A lot of people like Starbucks. I hate it. I went to a Starbucks once. I said, Melania, this is terrible. I like Dunkin'. I'm an East Coast guy. Dunkin'. Dough. Did I spell it wrong? Is it D-U-N-C-E-N? Are we Dunkin' Donuts? Let's see what's so... Ooh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, man. You definitely cannot see that. But anyways, there's a display here that's showing me to make a right. Ooh, and it bends with you. This is cool. I'm just filming stuff you can't see right now. Look at those hay bales, by the way. See, I could have fun on those all day. Just climb up them and make a fort. Call your adult friends over and say, let's climb on hay bales. But I'm the weirdo, right? I gotta say, testing cars on roads like this too, this is where it's fun. Get to really feel the suspension work. All right, so the augmented reality is cool. Basically puts arrows and blends them into where you need to turn virtually. Man, does this thing handle nice. The more I drive it, the more I like it. Okay, here come the arrows. The arrows are popping up. You probably can't see them.
I don't know how to show that. Oh, look at that. Oh, almost hit that lady in the booty with a mirror. That is cool. All right, so we're gonna go straight here. But the augmented reality kind of sets in with the road. So that is a cool feature, the way, like, as you approach the road, essentially the arrow gets bigger and bigger on your augmented reality, on the heads-up display here, showing that, hey, you're approaching the road, it's this left turn. Whereas, you know, it's an interesting blend, because this has the traditional technology that is really underutilized, and Tesla has the technology of like full self-driving, which is, you're in a car, you want the car to drive itself sometimes, it's more useful. So this is a cool feature. Ooh, a little roundabout here. Acceleration pull here. So, is the Macan EV worth 2 Tesla Model Ys? Short answer is no, it's not. But if you're looking for something that has the great driving experience that electric vehicles provide, if you're looking for an electric vehicle that over-delivers on its mileage and has a bunch of luxury features and it's familiar, it's a traditional car, there's buttons, there's switches, there's start, stop, there's a normal navigation, there's all that stuff, then this is the car for you. But this isn't a bargain by any means, and the Model Y is a massive value with full self-driving technology and all of that stuff that a lot of these other manufacturers really aren't even close to. So I do like the Macan EV, but it just doesn't do anything to me that is out of this world. It drives great, it looks cool, has a lot of cool options, but I don't walk away from it like I do with the Taycan and actually wanting one of those vehicles after it's taken that initial depreciation hit. But they have done a nice job with it. Also want to give a thank you to my subscriber, Michael, who let me come out and review this car. It's a huge help. I sincerely appreciate when you guys let me review cars. It helps the channel out. And yeah, just can't thank you guys enough for the support. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably want to see a Taycan wagon, and I've reviewed one of those, the Cross Turismo. You can click this video right here where I review the Cross Turismo and I talk about the depreciation. They're actually surprisingly affordable for an insanely quick and good-looking car.